Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fatima's World. Thanks for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Most importantly, thanks for talking back at me. I appreciate it. It gingers me a lot to want to keep going on. People have said to me severally, Fatima, talk about the FCMB saga. As a rule, I usually do not like to peruse situations that I do not have an authority to speak about. But I'm just going to be talking about this situation based on everything that has been written. We're used to taking things, that we have read, garbage in, garbage out. We'll stand ourselves to the jury, to the judge, to the magistrate. We hang people, we sentence them to life imprisonment with our mouth, without knowing the actual facts of the case. Based on what has been said all around, I'm going to be taking the case studies in this situation, one after the other. I will start with Moyo. For Moyo, I'm sure wherever Moyo is now, if indeed she was in an extramarital affair, I'm sure she's probably burying her head in shame. Looking back in retrospect, she would be full of regrets. I do not know what would have led a married woman, somebody who went to the altar in the presence of the Most High God, took her vows, what would have led her into involving in such? I'm sorry, Fatima. I can never make an excuse for a woman who commits adultery. I stand vehemently against committing adultery, not because the Bible forbids it, but because as a mother, it affects the life of your children. It might not be immediately, but eventually, your children will pay for the sins of the adultery. Whether you like it or not, those two beautiful children are going to be stigmatized for the rest of their lives, whether you like it or not. It is payments like this that we're talking about. I don't want to say that, maybe Moyo didn't have a good marriage. Maybe she wasn't happy. There are a lot of people to speak to, a lot of marriage counselors. You don't like what's going on in your home. You've talked about it. You've prayed about it. You don't think you can continue. Take a bow honorably. Please, take a bow. It is totally wrong to commit adultery for whatever reason that you think that you have to give. Adultery is a no for me. Perhaps she probably was happy in a marriage, but she wanted to grow in the banking industry rapidly. So she felt, if I keep warming the bed of my MD, he'll keep promoting me. The Bible says it is vain to wake up early to eat the bread of shame. Vanity upon vanity. All is vanity. Oh, don't get it twisted. I love the good things of life. But I wouldn't go the extra mile to get the good things of life. Because these things will come. Slowly, steady, surely. Once we plug our sockets to the Most High God, the one that is able to provide all our needs according to his riches and glory, then we have no reason to fear lack. So for whatever reason, it's a no. I totally condemn it. That's if, indeed, she was involved in an extramarital affair. I'm taking Tunde, may his soul rest in peace. Unfortunately, I do not really like to talk about the dead, but we would have to do that today. In perusing this particular saga, we would have to deal with every character. Tunde's part, I think it's a lesson for every man. Perhaps Tunde knew that his wife was cheating with their MD, but because of the monetary gains, he didn't mind. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I've seen situations where men would abuse their wives. Look at you. How did I marry a thing like you? It's of you to go out, to go and use yourself as a point of contact for this family. Can't you sleep with men? Are men not even calling you? Can't you even help my situation? I'm not talking fallacy. I've seen it happen. I know of men who know that their wives are sleeping with governors. But because they need favors, maybe a political post, maybe an appointment, they turn their blind eye. And the wives keep sleeping with these governors, keep sleeping with people. And so I'm asking, he's late now. The Bible says it's appointed unto men to die once after this judgment. So I cannot say that he's probably regretting. But I'm sure at some point he would have looked back. Was he encouraging this relationship because of what he was getting out of it? That's a $1 billion question. Perhaps Tunde was too much in love with his wife. He was too weak. He couldn't stop the relationship. He probably wasn't listening to relatives. Some other narrative said, just what if he had been jinxed? Maybe the Kayamata thing. In this part of the world, you guys tend to have misrepresented what Kayamata is from. Kayamata is originally from my state. And hey, what they are using Kayamata for in this day and age is not what Kayamata was designed to be used for. Kayamata is usually like a preparatory form of treatment for women who are just going to get married. Something to prepare you for married life. Something to ensure that you stay sweet to your husband and your husband alone. So I'm wondering how Kayamata has the craze for it has, broken a lot of families. So maybe he was jinxed. I do not know, maybe for the promotion. But I'm sure he knows better in retrospect. Oh, for the MD of the bank. The only fault that I would say that you have, sir, that's if peradventure you did it, is sleeping with your staff. The ethics of your profession, the code of conduct of the banking does not permit you. It totally forbids you to use your female staff's bodies as gratification for whatever you intend to do for them. Let it be based on merits. I'm sure you're biting your fingers. Look at the shame you've brought to your family if it is true. Look at the pains you've caused your wife. Look at how much stigma you've caused your children. Children, family one. Children, family two. Men, when you want to start to have an extramarital affair, consider what these things will cause for your children, to your family, your wife, the society at large. See how he disgraced himself, how the mighty are falling. For a man who has a wife that is an intellectual, what else would I say he was looking for? A beautiful wife, lovely children. We must bring ourselves to discipline in whatever areas that we find ourselves in. And back to his wife. I had to close my eyes to say this. This is Fatima's point of view. And this is the part where everybody says, let's talk about. It is alleged that she's packed out of the house and she's planning to divorce him. Hello, ma. Would you throw away all those years of hard work? You probably saw your husband from the scratch. You built this empire together. And because he's impregnated some strange women, because he's gone out of line and order, you're moving out of your house. You're throwing all of this work away. You're saying enough. You're turning your back. No. I'm sorry, ma. Move back into the house. This is the time your husband needs you more. He needs you most at such a time. Whether you like it or not, as mothers, we have a multidimensional role to play in the lives of our husbands. We are their spiritual guide. We are their mothers. We are their wives, their sisters, their confidants. From the church mind of a mother, would you leave your son because he did this? You'll be angry with your son temporarily. But the love of a mother would cover up the anger, and you will stand with him and fight. Please go back to your house. Stand with your husband. Fight. I'm gender biased, I'm a feminist, but my feminism believes in the headship of a man. It's the time for you to go back home. Stand behind your husband. Fight this through with your husband. I want us to take a case study of Hillary Clinton, the Clintons. When all of this happened, she didn't turn her back on her husband. She fought. Together, two of them fought that strange woman to a standstill. There are measures, punitive measures, that you can use to teach your husband a lesson. But please, in no wise, don't cast him out. If you speak to your mom, she's had horrible experiences with your father as well. Marriage is not a bed of roses. You've built this dynasty with him. Please, ma, go back home. Stay with him for the sake of those children. Fight this through. And I'm speaking to a lot of women who have been caught up in this situation. It is not a time to move out. It is not a time to pack out. It is not a time to say, oh no, enough. No. Be his friend and his partner in good and bad times. The storm is raging. I don't want you to imagine a vain thing. Stand as a rock that you are, as the helpmate that the Bible makes you, behind this man. Fight this battle through. I can assure you, he has learned his lesson. God bless all marriages. God bless all homes going through the storm. There's no storm that prayers cannot calm. Women, keep remaining the bedrock of your family on no account except on the issue of battery. I will not take that. No man must make me a punching bag. Every other thing can be tolerated. Like I said, this is Fatima's world. Fatima is saying this is our opinion. Keep keeping safe. Keep fighting your battles on your knees. God will restore peace to every home. Thank you very much.